Well, the snow has stopped falling, but many towns in the foothills are still covered in white. This is video Sky 9 captured this morning over Nederland, where 53 inches of snow fell during Thursday's storm. Lookout Mountain is also covered in snow this evening, a beautiful sight out there, even in the late day sunshine. The Golden area got around 25 inches of snow. But check out Greeley. They only got a couple of inches, which, as you can see, appears to be gone already. You can see all of that green on UNC's campus. Lauren, quite an incredible shift in this snow, just a few miles from big totals to barely any snow at all.
That's right. It was a very hit or miss storm, and that's what we were expecting. That's why all of the winter weather alerts were along central portions of Colorado and into the foothills, because that's where we got the highest totals with that upslope flow. Now, a lot of that snow has started to melt around Denver, mostly depending on what side of the street you're on. Let's go ahead and take a look at our current temperatures. We're at 50 degrees right now at DIA. Most of the Front Range and Eastern Plains was able to make it into the 50s. We did stay in the 40s in Fort Collins and down in Colorado Springs, Pueblo, 39 degrees right now in Trinidad. The high country in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and we're seeing those 40s through low 50s across the western slope. But let's go ahead and take a look at this 24-hour warm up. We're 7 degrees warmer than we were this time yesterday. Fort Collins seeing a 10-degree increase. Most of the Front Range and Eastern Plains anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees warmer than just 24 hours ago. Smaller changes up in the high country and western slope. But as we take a look at our HD Doppler radar, we're not quite done with snow yet in some areas. We have a system over the southwest there that is pushing its way into southwestern corners of the state as expected, where you could see maybe a few stray raindrops and snowflakes across the Front Range and even into Denver as we go through the rest of the evening. But I'll have more details on what we can expect and a very warm start to spring just ahead in my 7-day forecast.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Lauren. Well, the spot that saw the highest recorded snow totals from this storm was Aspen Springs, a small neighborhood in Gilpin County. They got a whopping 61.5 inches of snow. Now, a lot of us learned about the Aspen Springs neighborhood just this week because there are actually two Aspen Springs. This neighborhood we're talking about is an area north of Black Hawk along Highway 119 as you're driving up to Rawlinsville and Nederland. It is not to be confused with the Aspen Springs community down near Pagosa Springs in southern Colorado. Our crews tried to get into the local Aspen Springs neighborhood today, but it was too difficult to reach because some of those roads are still not plowed. And in the rest of unincorporated Gilpin County, people are dealing with the same thing. Our Lauren Scafidi talked to people who live there who say they're finding out it's tricky and expensive to get plowed out.
We stopped at a gas station on our way up here to unincorporated Gilpin County, and the cashier told me that today is really the first day that they're seeing people. After getting 61.5 inches of snow, a lot of people are snowed in, unable to even get out of their driveways. And here's why. Take a look. You can tell that they've been shoveling, but the snow is pretty high. I mean, it's up past my waist here. And there's a shovel over here. You can tell that they've been trying to dig themselves out for a couple of days. They're out here earlier, but there is still just snow packed in on every single side of this car, even piling up pretty high on top. But there are plenty of people here at unincorporated Gilpin County that haven't made it even this far.
And right now we have hundreds and hundreds of people, as we're talking right now, that are still snowed into their house, running out of food, have no way to get to them.
Driveways in Gilpin County have disappeared under more than 5 feet of snow.
And if you took a shovel right now to how thick and heavy this snow is, it's like ice blocks.
At Amber Casano's house,
it's been very stressful.
Today is the first day she's not trapped by that snow.
It took 3 days for us to get a path from the house to the end of the driveway here.
The end of the driveway was a tough finish line.
When you've got a plow coming through, I'm 5'11", so what would you call the top of that berm?
But Casano was worried for the people with no finish line in sight.
We have a high demographic of elderly people up here on medication and oxygen. They are not self-sufficient and can't use a snowblower or a shovel.
That also includes 13 short-term rental properties she manages up here. All those homes are occupied right now. All those families are snowed in.
All of them are. One of my properties, I had to hire an excavator out of Denver for $1,800 to come up and excavate the driveway just to get my renters out because they didn't have any more needles for their insulin for their elderly mother. The county, the BOCC needs to take a deep look at what these emergencies look like, and we need to respond much faster because we have people in crisis right now.
Gilpin County issued a disaster declaration on Thursday. County leaders say they're doing what they can.
We were hoping to get a dozer up to help clear some of the highways because that was a critical element. For example, our emergency services or EMS had difficulty getting out of the county during the storm because the roadways were shut. So we were trying to get a dozer to try and open up some of these roadways, but we were really impacted by a lot of abandoned vehicles that made it very difficult for resources to get up to Gilpin County.
I've been up here for 6 years. It's been an exceptional snowstorm for sure. Something I've only heard about.
She also said that some of her neighbors are just gonna have to wait for this snow to melt. In unincorporated Gilpin County, Lauren Scafidi, 9 News.
Hopefully those folks can get out soon. Thanks, Lauren. The county manager there told us there will be a meeting tomorrow morning to decide if the disaster declaration issued on the 14th will continue. Well, even as snow slowly starts to melt away, crews are warning about the danger of black ice. Black ice is, of course, much thinner and harder to see. When it becomes wet from warming temps, it's slick and can be very dangerous for drivers. Colorado State Patrol says icy conditions were a factor in this pileup on I-25 this morning near Castle Rock, involving at least 7 cars. CSP says it happened around 6 o'clock this morning on the southbound lanes near the North Meadows Drive exit. 1 person was taken to the hospital. Those lanes are back open now, but CSP is still warning drivers to slow down because those lanes are still icy. And roads are starting to reopen in Rocky Mountain National Park after they were shut down during the storm. Quite a scene up here. Trail Ridge Road is back open between Deer Ridge Junction to Many Parks Curve. Plows are still working to clear other places like Bear Lake and Wild Basin roads. They are still closed, and park rangers have not said when they will reopen. And Roxborough State Park down in Douglas County is still digging out as well. CPW posting these photos today, asking you to have plenty of patience and maybe some snowshoes if you decide to visit there. Well, the roads in Denver cleared up just in time for this morning's St. Patrick's Day parade in downtown Denver. Bagpipes, marching bands, and floats filled the area near Coors Field. The city made sure the streets and lots were plowed ahead of the big parade, but there were certainly some big puddles down there from all of that melted snow.